This world is about to be invaded by the most dangerous and invasive species there is, the me. And today we're gonna let it run without player interaction for 100 days and see how large they can build. And like many infection video, we just have to wait for them to arrive and start building their cities. Alright, we have our first me in the world. We just don't know yet if they are builders or just explorer, and I think the green banner means that it's just a scout that is, yeah, well, killing everything. So we'll have to wait for a builder. We are only halfway through the first day. Let's see how long it takes before we have our first builder. All right, it's been one day, and look at that over here. On the side of the cliff, we have our first building from the me. Now, this is just the beginning. I think with the latest update, which I really haven't took the time to check, they can build pretty much indefinitely. So let's see where they can go in 100 days. Unfortunately, there's not gonna be any replay mod because I'm on 1.19.2, so you're gonna have to survive on the time skip. What is going on behind me? They're placing sponges. What is going on? They're trying to dig. That's so interesting. They can use sponges. I didn't know that. Anyway, I'll see you in a few days. Alright, we are day 15, and the me has started to build their empire. There's only a few buildings, but they have extended their path like all around here, as well as up the mountain here. They carved some path, and they have some me AP cannon and me heavy flamethrower. Wow. And this is only phase 1 of the me. And oh, there we go. They're building another one. They don't have a lot of fights because they put torch everywhere, which means no zombies, skeletons, endermans are spawning in the area. Okay. Except that one, I guess, but they don't really engage and fight a lot. I'm not sure exactly how their resource is managed, but they have a bunch of these things. Well, there was a resource here until they carved a path through it. But anyway, they are building at speed 1 because you can increase it in the config, which means what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait to day 90. And once we hit day 90, we're gonna see how big they built, and we're going to cramp up the speed in the config to 10, which means in the last 10 days, there should be as much progress as the first 90 days. But I really want to see their normal in-game speed before we do something crazy. They're still struggling a bit with water. They couldn't clear the water here, and they also struggled over here. There we go, they're still struggling. They're putting sponges and they can't do anything. Look at that. So we're gonna keep the day count going up, and we'll be back in a few days, and hopefully the Mies will have dealt with their water problem. Alright, we are now day 30, and a lot has happened here. Look at the expansion they have done. They still haven't fixed their water problem. They got a visit from some villagers, but they died pretty swiftly, and they did something that I was not aware they could do. Now, you see this base here is at the edge of their territory. They built one here, one there, and one over, whoa, went over there. And I had actually no idea they could do this, and especially this one. This, I've never seen this. There's a core right under these Mies right there, and there's another core right under this guy right here. There's a core. I didn't know they could stack one like that. And also, they are fighting, I don't know what. They just keep firing at nothing, and this guy just decided to build up here and stay there. I don't know why. There's also a general somewhere with a red banner. I lost him, but he was just building up and moving everywhere. I don't know what's happening. They've extended a lot here though. They even started to carve into this mountain, like right here, and they carved some path, and there's even more holes in the mountain. But we're just at day 30. There's so much more that's gonna happen. So we're gonna let them go and build for another 20 days before checking on them again. And hopefully, this time, got rid of their water problem. But anyway, these guys are really building an empire right now. We are now day 51. Yeah, I missed a day by working outside, but anyway, they grew a lot. We had a lot to talk here. Okay, first of all, well, the city is even bigger, and they started to expand away. So if we go up here, there's gonna be one of these here. This is like a mine shaft. They just dug a hole all the way down here, and they did another one over here. I didn't know they could do that. That's really cool. I guess they're getting resources like that. And they also mine. Where is it? Here, there we go. This here is not natural. That's a mine. There's another one here, and I've seen them dig, and this is another one here, but this one is flooded. There's also these guys hidden. Corporal Timmy. There's another one in the mountain here. Okay, he's gone. But they build these like hidden spot around the map. They expanded their roads. They dug more holes in here. And they built this over here, completely out of town. They built like a watchtower or something. There's just a bunch of me's that does, I don't know what. They still haven't really got into this building. Although they, never mind. What is this? Commodore Mimi. Oh my god, he's digging. Look at it go. Where are they going? Well, this mountain is getting excavated. Anyway, oh my god, they made it inside. And just like that, they're now out. What is going on? Anyway, look at that. We have another few days to go, so I'll see you in 20 days. 20 days later, we are now day 70. And I feel like things have stagnated just a bit. I'm not sure why they did that, but there's not as many progress as the previous days. There's a few new mobs, like a few me incinerator that are way too large for nothing. And they built, wait, hold on. Maybe I underestimate where they build. Hold on, I've thought about something. Yep, there we go. That's why. The progress is being made. Ah, there it is, inside the mountain. Okay, it's not that much, but they're making progress. Now, how do I get out? There we go. I feel like they reached a point where they don't progress as much. This is still here, and that is a lot of mines. And oh my god, what the heck? That's a whole minefield. Well, things are moving more slowly now, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna stop. Also, what is going on with this guy? Is he hyperventilating? Wait, there's torches here. How did they get what? They dug in here. Wait, okay, they did nothing inside, but they managed to get up there. Okay, so let's wait till day 90, and then we'll bump the speed to time 10, and we'll see where this goes. And we finally reached day 90, and they just kept going. Oh my god, what is going on over there? They just kept going, but what I didn't know they could do is build a goddamn wall. But it's only there. I don't know if they're gonna continue it, but there's a wall. It started here, and it ended about here. It's made out of Mistrum conduit and chiseled Mistrum. I had no idea they could do that. And the game is starting to, lag. The city is really big right now. Let's see if we can get more detail down here. There's, passage everywhere now. I'm getting some really big lag spike. There's some cave down here with nothing. They did not continue mining here. They stopped after this size, and there's no other sign of mine like this. I don't know if it's intended or not. Oh my god, it's laggy. There's over 500 entities this way, and they keep building these pillars to where I AFK in the sky. It has to be a bug or something. Same for this. I feel like they just spawn like just out of reach and they go in like not rendered space. I don't know. This mountain is now Swiss cheese too. They haven't really destroyed the inside of this building except here. But now that we reached day 90, it's time to bump the speed to time 10 and see if they can expand even more than that. So let's run the last 10 days at times 10. Here we go. Okay, before we reach to 100 days, we're still day 90. I just checked the config to put it to times 10, and I just realized it can go to 100. So that's what I did. Now every Mies will build 100 times faster. I'm not sure how it's gonna affect everything, but we're about to find out. Alright, now that's what I'm talking about. We are day 100. And we've had some big progression on the base, but not really on like the walls or other structures. Mostly on the cores that makes the whole structure. And even if it looks like really big outside, we haven't looked inside the mountain. There's, building everywhere. They more than doubled in size. Let's say the game is also a bit more laggy than it was, but it still holds on. Yeah, look at that. This hasn't moved really much. These paths are still there. No more towers. There's a few, construction or more like destruction that happened in the village. But other than that, nothing more inside the castle. And there's still the party of me here bouncing in the water. Now, we haven't put the Mies to phase 2 for two good reasons. One, the planes and all the flying stuff is way more laggy than what we have right now. And two, well, you need player interaction to put them to phase 2. So that's without player interaction. So this is why they are still in phase 1. And I think it's okay, because I really wanted to see what they can do by themselves. And well, as you can see, it is a massive city. But with all of that, the Mies have made a big mistake. They did not destroy the Wither Storm here. So I guess that's gonna be for another video. So make sure to subscribe. And as always, you're awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.